Hey you guys, it's Friday, so you know what that means. Both Trials of Osiris and Ur are back this week. So in today's video, let's see what's available this week. Firstly, for Trials, the featured weapon for this week will be the Igneous Hammer Solar Hand Cannon. This is one of the best PvP hand cannons in the game. And for the featured map this week, it will be on Dissonance. Now, if you manage to successfully go flawless this week, you will get your hands on the Igneous Hammer Adept variant, which is way better because with the Adept variant, when you masterwork this weapon, it will gain a bonus to all of its stats as opposed to just one particular stat, as well as the addition of having the access to the Adept mods, which is a great bonus. So for all those Guardians who plan on entering Trials this week, I wish you the best of luck. And now, let's take a look at Ur's inventory this week. Okay, for Ur this week, he's on the tower, conveniently located near Saint 14. So if you just simply take a left from Saint 14's position, head up the stairs on the far side of the tower, you'll see a platform and he'll be here. Now, the first thing that you should ever consider doing anytime that you approach Ur is firstly pick up this exotic engram, which will cost a few legendary shards, and the exotic quest Xenology, which will then reward you with an exotic cipher, which can be used to pick up another exotic. Now we're first going to look at Ur's exotics this week, and the first exotic we have is an exotic trace rifle called Prometheus Lens. Prometheus Lens perk is Prismatic Inferno, fires a solar trace beam that creates a field of heat energy that grows as the weapon is fired. Sustained damage will also apply scorch to the target. So essentially the Prometheus Lens will create a huge field of heat on any targets that you damage with the weapon, and this field will grow as you're firing the weapon. Sustained damage will also scorch targets. And for the secondary perk, it has Flame Refraction. Kills with this weapon will return a fraction of the ammo used to the mag from reserves, extending the beam's duration. So this will basically allow you to go infinite. You won't have to ever reload this weapon so long as you're killing with this weapon. This is a good overall solar exotic. Now after that, for hunters, we have the exotic gauntlets, Shinobu's Vow. Shinobu's Vow perk is New Tricks, improves Skip Grenade, and you gain an additional Skip Grenade charge. Skip Grenade returns energy when it damages enemies. So basically, your Skip Grenades are better, you have an additional Skip Grenade charge, and your Skip Grenades will also return a portion of energy based on how much damage that you deal with the grenade after it damages them. Now the roll on this exotic is pretty good as well. It has 8 mobility, 15 resilience, 12 recovery, 21 discipline, 6 intellect, and lastly 2 strength. The discipline is very useful here as Shinobu's Vow is a grenade based exotic, and 15 resilience, which is also nice. After that, for Titans, we have the exotic helmet, Eternal Warrior. Eternal Warrior's perk is Resolute. Arc Final Blows grant an escalating damage bonus with arc weapons, gain an overshow when activating Fist of Havoc, and gain the highest tier damage bonus to arc weapons when your Fist of Havoc super ends. So basically, your Arc Final Blows will grant you an escalating damage bonus to your arc weapons. You will also gain an overshow when you activate Fist of Havoc arc super, and gain the highest tier damage bonus to arc weapons when your Fist of Havoc super ends. Now this roll is pretty nice. It has 18 mobility, 14 resilience, 2 recovery, 2 discipline, 19 intellect, and 10 strength. The 19 in intellect is particularly useful here as Eternal Warrior is an intellect based exotic, and it also has a decent amount of resilience sitting at 14, but there is also mobility here, so keep that in mind because Titans don't actually want mobility. And lastly, for Warlocks this week, on the armor, we have the exotic helmet, Skull of Dire Ahamkara. The perk on this exotic is Actual Grandeur. Provides additional damage resistance during Nova Bomb. Nova Bomb kills grant super energy. This is a decent Warlock exotic, so basically when you pop your Nova Bomb super on Void Warlock, you will have damage resistance, and any kills with that Nova Bomb will grant you some super energy. The perk on this roll has 10 mobility, 19 resilience, 3 recovery, 18 discipline, 12 intellect, and 2 strength. Good armor stat perks overall. It has a nice amount of resilience as well as discipline. Now the last exotic we have this week from Ur is of course the exotic hand cannon Hawkmoon. Now this roll on the grip has Polymer Grip, which will increase the handling speed. The main trait on this roll is Eye of the Storm. This weapon becomes more accurate and boosts handling as your health gets lower. This is very good for PvP. The magazine has Ally Magazine, which will increase your reload speed when your mag is empty, And lastly, for the barrel, we have Arrowhead Break to greatly control the recoil and increase handling speed. A very nice roll on the Hawk Moon this week for PvP. Now we're going to look at Yur's legendary weapons this week. So for Yur's legendary weapons this week, the first weapon we have is the legendary auto rifle, the Scavelock, with sympathetic arsenal and subsistence. Then after that, we have the legendary solar SMG, the Callus Mini Tool. This is one of the best solar SMGs in the game. And this role in particular is actually great for PvP. The first trait it has is Eye of the Storm. This weapon becomes more accurate and boosts handling as your health gets lower. So essentially, as your health is decaying, it will actually improve this weapon's accuracy and handling, which is great for PvP. Then for the secondary trait, we have Armor Lensing. Rapidly defeating targets will trigger health regen. Now, Guardians and powerful combatants will actually count as more than one kill and grant you bonus healing. Now, what's great about this perk combination is that Eye of the Storm will increase this weapon's accuracy and handling as you're taking damage, while Armor Lensing will actually heal you when you get final blows. So a great overall perk combination on this SMG for PvP. On the magazine, we have a pendant mag to increase the magazine size, and for the barrel, we have corkscrew rifling to slightly increase the range and stability, as well as slightly increasing the handling speed. Now for the masterwork on this roll, it will be a range masterwork. Overall, a great roll for PvP on the Callus Mini Tool, and you should definitely pick this up. After that, we then have the Aikilo's Arc SMG, one of the best Arc SMGs in the game. However, unfortunately, this roll isn't actually that great. The first trait it has is Pugilist. Final blows with this weapon grant melee energy, and dealing melee damage will actually briefly improve this weapon's handling. So basically, as you get kills with this SMG, it will give you a small portion of your melee energy, as well as when you melee damage with this SMG on, it will improve this weapon's handling. Not too bad of a perk in the right trait column, but there are better perks you can get there. And for the secondary trait column, we have Killing Wind. Final blows grant increased mobility, weapon range, and handling for a short duration. So when you get kills with this SMG, it will increase mobility, weapon range, and handling. Not too shabby of a trait either. Now on the magazine, we have a pendant mag to increase the magazine size. And on the barrel, we have Hammer Forged Rifling for increased range. And the masterwork on this roll will be handling. Not a bad roll overall. After that, we have another Arc SMG, and this time it's the Stochastic Variable SMG with Wellspring and Under Pressure. Not a great roll. Then after that, we have a Glaive, and it's the Arc Glaive, the Nezarac's Whisper. This is a decent PvE roll. The first trait on this roll is Turnabout. Using this weapon to break the shield of a combatant or a guardian using their super will grant you an overshield. So when you break a combatant's shield, it will give you an overshield, which is great. And for the secondary trait, we have Genesis. When you break a combatant's shield with this weapon, it will actually refill the magazine, so you won't have to reload it, as well as when you cause damage on a shield with this weapon that matches this weapon's damage type, which in this instance is Arc, it will actually regen ammo as well. So this is a good trait combination for PvE on this Glaive. Now for the magazine, we have Ally Magazine to simply increase the reload speed when the mag is empty. And for the haft, we have Tempered Trust Hod. Greatly increases handling speed, slightly decreases reload speed, and slightly decreases range. Now for the masterwork on this roll, it will be shield duration. Overall, a decent PvE roll on a Nezarac's Whisper, so I'd pick this up. After that, we have the Void Grenade Launcher, the Memory Interdeck with Danger Zone and Impulse Amplifier. Not a great roll. And the last weapon this week from Yur will be the Retrofit Escapade Void Machine Gun. Now, this roll has Tap the Trigger to grant a period of increased stability and accuracy on the initial trigger pull. This is decent for PvP, but for PvE, it's not good. Now, Turnabout will grant this weapon an overshield whenever you break a combatant's shield or a guardian's shield. This is good for PvE. Now for the magazine, we have Agorized Rounds to increase the range. And for the barrel, we have Chamber Compensator to increase stability, moderately control the recoil of the weapon, and slightly decrease the handling speed. And the masterwork on this roll will be Reload Speed. This is not a great roll on the Retrofit Escapade, and I definitely skipped this. Okay, Guardians, now for the last part of today's video, we're going to take a look at Yur's Legendary Armor for this week. Lastly, for Yur's Legendary Armor this week, we have the Sovereign set, and on Hunters, we have 14 Mobility, 2 Resilience, 17 Recovery, 10 Discipline, 22 Intellect, 2 Strength, and lastly, 67 total for the Gauntlets. Now this is a great roll on the gauntlets this week for hunters, as it has a massive amount of intellect sitting at 22 and a decent amount of recovery and mobility, recovery sitting at 17 while mobility sitting at 14. So a great roll for intellect based builds on hunters, and I picked this up. Now on the chest, we have 2 mobility, 10 resilience, 22 recovery, 12 discipline, 10 intellect, and 10 strength. This roll is not great, however it does have a decent amount of recovery. Now on the helmets, we have 6 mobility, 7 resilience, 20 recovery, 29 discipline, holy crap, that's amazing, 2 intellect, 2 strength with a total of 66. This is a really good roll on the helmet this week for hunters. 29 in discipline, that is amazing, you guys. If you guys don't know, the maximum stat that you can get on a piece of armor in a particular row is actually 40. So if you actually apply a maximum tier discipline mod, you can bring it all the way up to 39, which is just one short of being maximum, which is great. And it also has a nice amount of recovery sitting at 20. So definitely pick this up this week, hunters. Lastly, for hunters on the boots, we have 7 mobility, 2 resilience, 24 recovery, pretty nice, 7 discipline, 14 intellect, and 12 strength, with a total of 66. A pretty alright mediocre roll overall. It does have a nice amount of recovery and a decent amount of intellect, but overall not too great of a roll. Anyways, let's look at the Titan armor this week from Yer. Alright you guys, for Titans this week, Yer has on the gauntlets 10 mobility, 2 resilience, 19 recovery, pretty good, 6 discipline, 2 intellect, and a whopping 25 in a strength stat. This is a good roll for Titans this week. It has a massive 25 in strength and a pretty respectable 19 in recovery, so I would pick this up. Now on the chest, we have 10 mobility, 15 resilience, 7 recovery, 6 discipline, 12 intellect, and lastly 15 strength. Once again, a good roll for Titans, good amount of resilience as well as strength. Now for the helmet, we have 2 mobility, 2 resilience, 30 recovery, really good, 12 discipline, 6 intellect, and 16 strength, pretty nice. So this roll has a pretty nice amount of recovery here and a decent amount of strength, so a good roll overall. And lastly, on the Titans, on the boots, we have 10 mobility, 10 resilience, 10 recovery, 10 discipline, 6 intellect, and 17 strength. Not a good roll. Lastly, we're going to look at the Warlock's armor this week. Finally, for the Warlock class armor available this week from Yer, Yer is offering on the gauntlets 18 mobility, 10 resilience, 2 recovery, 20 discipline, 6 intellect, and lastly 7 strength. Overall, a decent piece of gauntlets for Warlocks this week, as it does have a nice amount of discipline, but there is also a good bump in mobility, so keep that in mind, as Warlocks don't actually need mobility. However, if you are a Warlock in need of a good pair of Warlock gauntlets with a decent amount of discipline, then I pick this up. On the robes, we have 10 mobility, 10 resilience, 10 recovery, 2 discipline, 26 intellect, which is massive, and lastly 6 strength. This is not a good pair of robes for Warlocks this week, however it does have a pretty spiky stat in the intellect category. Now on the helmet, we have 2 mobility, 18 resilience, 10 recovery, 11 discipline, 10 intellect, and lastly 10 strength. Not a good roll, I would skip this. And lastly, for Warlocks on the boots, we have 18 mobility, 2 resilience, 10 recovery, 10 discipline, 11 intellect, and 10 strength. Not a good roll. Alright fellow Guardians, that concludes today's review of both Trials of Osiris and Yer this week. Now if you're feeling generous, go ahead and drop a like on this video and subscribe to my channel, and thank you guys so much for watching.